The John Wick franchise expanded with the limited series The Continental, from the world of John Wick on Peacock, and the ending seemed to tease The Continental Season 2. 2014's John Wick introduced viewers to Keanu Reeves's titular assassin and the shadowy yet stylish world in which he lives. Specifically for the Peacock show, the John Wick movies also introduced the New York Continental Hotel and its scrupulous owner, Winston, Ian McShane. The John Wick prequel series delves into the history of the Continental Hotel and a younger Winston, played now by Colin Waddell, in the 1970s. The first season of the prequel spin-off showcased how Winston went to war with the High Council and took control of the titular Continental Hotel. However, by the end of the first season of the Continental, there were still several unanswered plot threads and cliffhanger. Despite this, and some teases and candid hints about a possible second installment from the show's director, it seems that the Continental Season 2 won't happen. Most recent The Continental Season 2 news. Producers suggests that a second season will not be happening. Winston looking nervous in the John Wick prequel The Continental. Despite hopes that a second season could be on the way, it looks increasingly certain that the John Wick franchise will be continuing with other shows and films, rather than a Season 2 for the Continental. In an interview with the producer Basil Iwanek reflected on Season 1, and while he does speak positively about the first season, his comments strongly suggest that a second isn't on the cards for the franchise. Despite this is not yet an official cancellation of the series, although it was originally planned as a limited series, so that official no may not come. The Continental Season 2 isn't confirmed. Will the limited series stay limited? Colin Waddell as Winston holds his hands up as men with guns aim at him in the Continental. Peacock hasn't renewed the Continental for Season 2. The John Wick prequel show was planned as a standalone volume, but there's always room for Peacock to greenlight another season. There have been questions about the possible future of the John Wick prequel, and it wouldn't be the first miniseries to receive a second season. There are some ideas of what could be expected if the Continental extends further than planned, but nothing is confirmed yet. Speaking to IGN, director Albert Hughes revealed he'd already had thoughts on where the Continental Season 2 could go if it's renewed. Hughes has been considering another season of the Continental set in the 1980s, an idea initially put to him by showrunner Kirk Ward. "Who knows whether I'm going to be invited back or Kirk's going to be?" Hughes said when asked about the future of the John Wick spin-off. "Who knows? But we just geek out over the 80s, and we actually have a plan for what would happen in the 80s. So that's exciting." The Continental Season 2 cast. A time jump could introduce new characters. It's difficult to pinpoint who would be present in the Continental Season 2 cast. Since Winston survives until the time of the John Wick movies, it's safe to presume Colin Waddell, the original's Unfriended, Dark Web, would reprise his role as a younger Winston. Because Cormac didn't make it out of Season 1, Mel Gibson, Braveheart, likely won't return for the Continental Season 2 cast, and neither will Katie McGrath, Supergirl, as the Adjudicator. It's unclear whether the likes of Michelle Prada as KD would return, as this entirely depends on how their characters factor into the as-yet undetermined plot. If Season 2 takes place in the 1980s as the director and producers have toyed with, it opens up many casting opportunities for new characters. Since it's a decade closer to the start of John Wick, it would also open up the possibility of younger versions of characters from the movie appearing, including a younger John Wick. John Wick was born in 1964, so if Season 2 of the Continental takes place in the latter half of the 1980s, it could potentially feature John at the time he was first gaining his reputation as the feared hitman Baba Yaga.